Hello and welcome. Welcome to my YouTube channel PHARMAVEN. In today's video, I'll be discussing about 483 observations as well as warning letter observations related to the smoke study or airflow visualization as what we say. So let's start. I'll be discussing point wise, so please watch my full video. The first point in smoke study related observation is not following first air concept. So let's understand. The observation related to the first air violation is that when the operators are doing some activity, they are leaning over the sterile containers or reaching out to the sterile containers using their hand gloves. As per the guidance for industry September 2004, any sterile container must be contacted with sterile tool. If you are leaning over with your hand gloves, then you are blocking the first air. In my one of the previous videos, I explained that what is first air. So the air which is coming from the HEPA filter and coming into the contact of the open containers is the first air. If you are blocking the first air with your hand gloves, if you are leaning over to the containers, then you are blocking the first air and containers are not receiving first air. So that is the first observation which we observe, which I have seen in 483 and in warning letter, that operators while doing the activities or while doing the interventions, they are leaning over or reaching out to the open soil container through their gloves or through their bodies, which is blocking the first air. So your intervention should be designed in such a way that you should not block the first air. You should reach out using sterile tools like forceps, but not with directly with your sanitized hand gloves. So you should not do that activity to prevent such observation. Second observation is about turbulence into the airflow. So while doing the activities or while performing the interventions are performed in such a way, or the design of the filling machine is such a way that air should, like in ideal world, ideally the air should come to the working height and should go out of the wraps if it is open wraps, or go out or dissipate, but should not bounce back. It should not create turbulence when it touches to the working height or working area. If the air touches the working area and bounces back, it means it is carrying the particulate contamination and bacterial contamination, if any, upwards, and it can contaminate the sterile open containers. So turbulence into the air or bouncing back of the air is not acceptable when we are doing the smoke studies. Third observation is that the smoke, when we are introducing the smoke, it should not be introduced horizontally, vertically. For example, if your smoke source is designed such a way that you are forcing the smoke downwards, then it creates an illusion, or it creates an thinking that smoke is force. It is not because of the airflow, but because of the force of the smoke generator. Smoke is coming downwards. So if you are introducing smoke downwards, then this doubts comes in the auditor's mind, or into the reviewer's mind, that smoke is not introduced properly. You are forcing the smoke to come downwards. So what you should ideally do is keep the smoke source horizontal, so smoke will come this way and will go down because of the laminar airflow. By that way you can demonstrate that the smoke is coming downwards not because of the force from the smoke generator, but because of the airflow. One more observation is related to the when you do any intervention, then you are disturbing the airflow, and the airflow is not getting restored immediately once you complete the intervention. For example, you have very fast movements while doing the intervention, then it is clearly visible in smoke studies that smoke is disturbed because of the fast movement of the operators to do the intervention, and then it's not becoming normal within short time. In ideal world, or in ideal case, you should do your slow movement such that smoke flow, even if disturbed, should get restored immediately once you complete your activity. If you are doing too much fast movement, then smoke will not be restored. One more observation related to the smoke study is that the smoke itself is not adequate. So in your smoke study, the smoke flow is not adequate so that you can visualize clearly that smoke is, where is the smoke, from where it is coming, and how it is not getting impacted or impacted because of the activities. So if your smoke is not clearly visible into the video, then it gives an observation, or it creates an observation that your smoke is not clearly visible, and we cannot, like the auditor or reviewer is not assured that the airflow was proper, it was not disturbed, and it was coming to the working height, and the first aid concept was followed. If your smoke is not visible, you cannot make sure. One of the reasons for this, that if you have SS surfaces or glass surfaces or white surfaces or white walls, then smoke will not be clearly visible. One of the way to eliminate this is to have black curtains in the background so that the smoke is clearly visible. So this is the one way you can eliminate the observations related to smoke is not visible clearly. One more observation related to the smoke is that smoke is too dense. Like previous observation, we discussed the smoke is too little so that it is not visible. But one more observation is that the smoke is too dense so that you cannot see the activity. So if you have a lot of smoke coming in while doing an intervention or an activity, then if you have a lot of smoke, then what activity is being done is not visible into the camera, it's not visible in the video, and that becomes an observation that the aseptic manipulations which are done, the interventions which are done is not visible while performing the smoke study because the smoke is too dense. One more observation related to the smoke study is that when auditors see the smoke studies, they don't not only see the smoke, they look at the machine, they look at the practices, even they look at the background activities. So sometimes what happens that while filming the smoke study, in background somebody is walking, somebody is talking, and that becomes an observation because that person is not supposed to be there, or that activities is not supposed to be done at that time. Sometimes we have that active Oscar. So sometimes the background activity also becomes an observation because while you are doing the smoke study, while you are actually filming, then you understand that video is a very good evidence of the activities. And if somebody is walking into the background and somebody is talking into the background, which is not supposed to be done while doing your filling setup or while doing your intervention, then that becomes an observation. One more observation related to the smoke study is that if your machine is not properly cleaned, if you have not placed the things properly, then in video it becomes clearly visible. Understand that your aseptic actions will be appropriate, your intervention will be perfect, but if machine has some stains, some labels which were not supposed to be there, if machine is not cleaned properly, if some door is kept open, if some door into the area is kept open, or there are some unwanted materials lying here and there, then they are actually visible into the video, and that also becomes an observation. One more observation related to the smoke study is that sometimes we don't demonstrate that when you open the filling machine door, or when you open the door of the filling room while opening the filling machine door, you have not simulated that activity, because once you open the filling machine door, it will impact the room differential pressure, and at the same time if you open the filling machine door, then it can have impact, and we have to demonstrate that once you open the filling machine door as well as you open the filling area door, it's not impacting the smoke pattern. The smoke is still coming from grade A towards grade B. So I think that this observation which I discussed will help you to understand that how a smoke study becomes critical, not only to ensure the sterility assurance but also from the regulatory perspective. And by doing the proper smoke studies, we can prevent many 483s and warning letters in our organization. So thanks for watching my full video, and if you like, you can subscribe to my channel PHARMAVEN. Thank you very much for watching my full video. Thanks a lot.